Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below this video. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Jose, Flat Earth Ranty, or Ranty Flat Earth, Sleeping Warrior, Flat Earth Hero, Flatten Earth. Yeah. Got loads of Flat Earths in these titles. Chocolate Saying, Arwin, and Alan. Good to have you all.
Keep it
flat out hero, not Flat Earth hero.
My bad, Flat Out Hero.
Also known as another Awake Souls or Limitless channel.
Maybe. Anyway, please share the show. It's good to have you all.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Do you have footage on your page?
Yeah.
All right.
Hang on,
what is it? Flat Out Hero? Is that your name?
FOH.
Flat Out Heroine.
Copy that.
Right, I'm gonna have a look for his work that he's done. Have a look at all his evidences. No, I don't see any. Maybe you could present your best flat Earth proof. How about that?
Sure. Which one you want? You can see Copernicus. Well, I'm saying you can see Copernicus crater with your bare eyes, but the moon's supposed to be 210,000 miles away when we can't even make out the Andes mountain range, the largest mountain range on Earth, which is 4,300 miles long and 300 miles wide from the freaking ISS satellite, which is only 300 miles high. That's a little bit of a discrepancy, I would think. I mean, and then there's
ISS?
The ISS live feed.
Oh,
dear me.
What?
The ISS live feed, the International Space Station.
Yeah.
The live feed from that. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh. Unless you use optics if you want to zoom in or whatever, but every time I see it, it's only clouds and water.
So, have you actually done any experimentation on your own?
Yeah, check out my no, it's not a magic lighter video.
Right, hang on.
Wait, so just so that I'm not confused, you are a flat earther.
I am true blue flat earther, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, what is your problem with what Ranty is doing?
Well, my problem with what Ranty did his last experiment was he did an experiment utilizing even longer distance than I did, and I just did mine in a back patio where he had a whole track that he could have easily demonstrated that the horizon will. You can make the horizon swallow up anything from if you lower your perspective, but he didn't lower his perspective like deep and low enough, and then he lets everybody conspiracy cats and everybody just clown the hell out of us, and then makes everybody fucking think that we didn't come through with that part of experiment when that's been done so many times, so many ways. Like if you didn't see it, you haven't done enough research to be doing that experiment live stream, man. What the fuck are you doing?
I see. So the fact, like I say, that I couldn't actually dig up the track and get the camera lens to the height of the track, that kind of
Then don't use the track. Hello.
Well, can you find somewhere that is 100 meters stretch that?
Yeah, you don't have to use 100 meters, dude. Use a swimming pool. Bring your cameras down to the horizon. Bring the horizon up to you.
Okay, so how do you get into a swimming pool with the P900 or a P1000?
Put it in a freaking waterproof case.
Right, I see. So you want me to get a waterproof case. What else do you want me to do? Go into a
No, I
swimming
want
pool.
you to do the experiment.
Hang on,
Like
wait a minute. Go
every
into a
other
swimming
flat
pool.
earther has done it.
Wait a minute. So how do I get into a swimming pool when nobody else is in it? So I've got to go when it's closed. Is this what you're saying? Wait for the water to settle down. Get in the water. Wait for the water to settle down. Do some kind of experiment across a what? A 30-foot stretch
that
of water?
fucking difficult, bro. Use
You're
a fucking cement
retarded.
slab.
Hey,
Use a
Physics
cement
Warrior.
slab and put your phone in a fucking crack like I did, dog.
No swearing,
Bring the
please.
fucking
No swearing.
Huh?
Man,
No
you're
Bring the
swearing.
perspective up to the camera, bro. You can bring that perspective all the way up, like within a couple of feet.
So your problem is that Ranty is not doing the same exact experiments that you're doing.
Oh, not at all, man. He's doing a live stream claiming to be proving flat Earth using an experiment.
So
and
your
then
problem
completely
is
fucking
Ranty's
flopping
not
on it
doing
when
the
it's
same
when
exact experiments that you're doing.
No, it's other flat earthers have done it successfully, man. He's the only one that failed it that I know of.
Right, okay. So your achievements this year have been what?
Shit, other than fucking destroying the globe with my fucking $100,000 and $200,000 fucking challenge that nobody has been able to do, not much.
Okay,
So-
stop the damn swearing, dude. Please.
So you haven't paid up for the first part of that.
Who am I supposed to pay?
Whoever won the competition, the outright competition, did it first.
Who is that?
Some people say that it was Wolfie. Some people say it was
I've
somebody
addressed
else.
that in videos.
Okay, so maybe you should just divvy it up between them.
Well, no, I've addressed that no one has done it in videos.
What?
I've addressed that nobody has completed the challenge in videos. Now I've moved on to the $200,000 challenge.
Actually, you did agree that the challenge was met. You even did a live stream saying that, congrats, Wolfie, you did it! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Now for the final part of the challenge. Now, there wasn't just let me confirm something now. There wasn't a final part of the challenge. That wasn't included. You added that after the original challenge.
There was nothing different. There was nothing different. I did not add that, dude. No matter what you want to say, dog, I never added that later, dude. That is completely fucking the very first day that I fucking published that. That is the same thing that I never changed. I don't even know how to go back and do that, but I never.
Please, can you not swear? Just try not to swear. Hold on. Like, try not to swear. Try not to swear, please.
Hang on. So you don't know how to change a description. But you
no, I've never done that.
But wait a minute. But you've debunked the ball Earth.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a lot easier than that. Yeah.
But you don't know how to change the description, right? Okay.
Pretty much,
and you've got £100,000 to pay these people, yeah?
No, I've got $1,000 a month, which you would have known if you had watched my. You didn't read the description. You didn't watch my videos. You don't know nothing about me, but you're lying about me. See, that tells me that you are not a flat earther.
I'm asking you. You said that the bet was the challenge was 100,000.
Yeah,
I knew you said that they would pay 1,000. And other people.
So what are you saying that for, dude?
Other people have said that why don't you drop to 500 and just pay up and at least sort of make some kind of.
Look, you're acting like it's being solved yet, but nobody solved it.
No, nobody actually did the flight route within the plane.
Nobody proved that it can be. Nobody plotted it and did it from a place that can be proven as flyable. You don't have to take me. You don't have to. He doesn't have to take me out on an airplane unless he wants to use a restricted area. If he's gonna use a restricted area, yeah, two can play that game. You want to word salad me and try to like manipulate your way around the rules, dude. It's a ball. It should be able to be plotted from anywhere. Yes, he did the right flight path. If you look at the way that his flight path went, it is an unfinished square. Yes, he did that much, but he tried to say that the whole bottom line of the map and the whole top line of the map were one single point. If he wants to play that game, I said fine, but you still have to prove that it is flyable, and it is not flyable.
Well, you know that Wolfie now has 42,000 subscribers, don't you?
I don't care what he has, dude, and you shouldn't either, bro. We have truth on our side. If you are a flat earther, if you're really worried about a popularity contest, dude, like
nothing to do with this.
Enjoy that shit. That's on you. Like, I'm here for something else.
Wait, let me just be quite clear with that. You see the amount of trolling you have on your shit channel, which has no content, right? When people like myself, who has real content and real important content, suddenly gets inundated with all those trolls that you brought to Wolfie, right, who are now going to come and descend on channels like mine with real evidence out there. It's us that are going to get the brunt of your stupidity, because all that information will be buried under a shitstorm of negativity by the trolls that you brought in with your ridiculous challenge.
Oh well,
I agree.
That's on you, dude. Like, if you can't deal with it, then you shouldn't be.
That's nothing to do with that. You're on about doing.
It's not me bringing trolls, bro. I presented a challenge.
You expect to see if you have a decent video out there and it has nice people commenting, you will read the comments and you will learn from that. When all you have is the trolls that you will bring in from your challenge, people from Wolfie, people from Simon Dan, people from Conspiracy Cats, who they're kind of trolls that will come to channels like mine and leave their horrible comments on. It's that will turn people away from Flat Earth. You've done more for the Ball Earth than you've done for Flat Earth. I am telling you now. And if you had any decency, you would hold your hands up, telling them that you messed up. You didn't really have it. You can't afford to pay them, and let's just draw a line underneath it. Because do you know something? They would appreciate you more than that, and I would, and so would everybody else. At least if you held your hands up and was honest about it.
Aside from you, I want to hear what everybody else thinks about it. Like, I understand that there's a lot of perceptions going on, but does aside from Ranty, is it my fault that the challenge that I brought to light is causing all of this subscribers to go over to Wolfie, or causing all this drama to come over to Ranty's channel? Like, how is that my fault that I presented a challenge that is unbeatable, and you admit that you know it can't be done? You just said that you understand the point of my challenge. So what are you? I
understand the point of the challenge, but you didn't include that in the point of the actual challenge.
You say that. Money. You say that, but that's not true. And
that's not just.
I'll figure out a way to prove that if I can.
That's what thousands of other people say as well. I mean, it's not just me.
You're right. There's a bunch of people lying about me right now, dude. You're absolutely right about that. So if you're gonna join, join that crew just because they're agreeing with
well, listen to me. Just let me say one last thing before, and then I just want to change the subject on this. But one thing you will realize about me if you ever look through my work or speak to me or know anybody that talks to me is I don't lie. So I just don't lie. I mean, I'm too honest for my own good, and that's just the way.
That's a lie right there. You just lie.
What? Because I am very honest with what I do.
Because you said you don't lie.
Well, I don't.
You said that you don't lie.
I don't. Am I lying now? Am I lying now to you? No.
I didn't say that you're lying, but to say that you don't lie is a lie. Am I wrong, or are you perfect, bro?
I wouldn't say I'm perfect. No.
Then what are you saying?
I am pretty honest. I am pretty honest, my friend. Unlike you, who deliberately moves the goalposts. You've moved the goalpost. Yes, you have. You've lied.
The challenge is as public.
Gents. Right, shut up. Guys, shush.
Stop the Welsh fist slapping, please.
Right. For those that have not seen the video, the original video, can you tell us what the challenge was?
Yeah, absolutely. The challenge is to take flight charts, to piece together flight charts and make a map of the world that will end in a Mercator style issue. The Mercator style map is what the gist of what I was getting at. It's what I said in my first challenge to Wolfie and the other one to Simon and Dan. I didn't include the Mercator style part in the official one, but the original challenge was to take flight charts, piece them together, and then using those flight charts, which don't account for curvature, but take those flight charts, travel any distance you like from point A to point B, go to point B, make a 90-degree angle turn, travel the same distance you traveled from point A to point B, and then make another 90-degree angle turn, and then travel the same distance you traveled the first two legs and return home. If you were on a ball, you could do it. If you cannot do it, then the Earth is flat. And that's been the whole challenge the whole time.
And they did it. They mapped it out on the. They mapped it out on the maps. They placed.
Wait, who did? Who did?
Wolfie.
Okay, which time? The first one or the second one?
Whichever. Well, when you changed it and then said that you had to do it on this type
the first. If you think you did
you
it
then
the
changed
first
it
time,
to electronic. You changed it to electronic and said this is okay. So we used
electronic's fine. That's fine. I never said anything about electronic. I said that you could not use fucking. Or sorry, guys. I said that you had to use pieced together flight charts. That has a context. That means that I was saying it in reference to when I used the word chart, flight chart. I had the noun definition that fits to that means a sheet or a sheet. It's the definition has the word sheet in it, and sheet also has a definition. It is a piece of paper. You have to use the context that I used the word in, and I used it perfectly right. Like the flight charts must be pieced together. Now,
So
how in the world are you going to piece together a computer program that already does it for you, supposedly?
Can we play one of your videos, literally?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay, right, Anthony, please, can you just play this video? It's only 1 minute 30 long. I'm just going to put it in the side chat now. This is what he
Ranty,
uploaded.
The sound won't come through, Ranty, if I play it.
All right, Nathan, could you do that, please?
Well, hang on. Just before you do that, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
The bit I saw, and I'm not saying this is good, bad, or the ugly, or whatever. I'm just asking. When Wolfie was typing in the coordinates or whatever it was he was typing in on that keypad that was inside that plane cockpit, is that doing what you asked him to do?
Not at all. Is that right now what I just said is exactly what I asked, and that's all I've ever asked.
That was my gut reaction when I saw him typing in the coordinates on that system that he was plugging in.
Where does that come from?
I did not think that he was doing. The way I saw that, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but he looked like he was plugging in coordinates on an electronic system rather than doing a map that was based on paper. That was the way I saw it.
Exactly. That's my thoughts exactly.
And that doesn't mean I agree or disagree with anybody.
Challenge is my question. That had another.
Based on what I saw, I didn't think that he'd done what he was supposed to have done. But
right, Nathan, could you just play that video for me, please, in the chat? He's giving permission.
Yeah, I can do. Give me a second.
By the way, I'd like to say a few of you guys on the panel, I got a lot of respect for you, Nathan. Thanks a lot for bringing the flat earth debate to everybody. Just like to, pay my respect to everybody else other than Ranty, except for Ranty. Maybe if you have done some work,
Yeah, you got it. You got the concept. You got the idea. Yeah. You plotted it. Bravo. So now it's time to prove it. You got your own personal plane. You want to just pick me up on one of your trips? Am I gonna have to spend $100,000? Prove it's viable. Maybe I will. Pick me up. Take me on that flight. Prove for the entire world, once and for all, flat Earth is true or not. I'll charge my camera. I don't think we'll end up where we started. I could be wrong. Prove it. Pack my bags.
Yeah, because he wants to go from Antarctica. Wolfie? If he doesn't want to do it from Antarctica, if he wants to plot it anywhere else, that's fine. We can prove it's viable or not. The only reason we have to go, he has to pick me up for that one is because he wants to use a restricted area.
So I played the video. It didn't detail anything, and it says information on the challenge in the
info box. That was my response to Wolfie. I don't know what you're trying to.
Yeah, Nathan, what it is after the original challenge was set, where he had to plot 3 points and then come back same distances apart and end up back at the same place. Wolfie completed that, and this guy, sorry, I don't know your name, but I'll just say Flat Out Hero.
Yeah.
Flat Out Hero agreed. Congrats, Wolfie, you did it, right? So he agrees that that part of the challenge was met. He does a live stream about it, and then he releases it, right? So that was the original terms of the original challenge. That was it.
Well,
there wasn't fly it. There was that.
No, you did got to read the description. You got to read the description. That's not even the original challenge. The original challenge was I was responding to his. He had already answered the original challenge. I was responding to his answer. That was the second entry. I already that was way.
So
later.
Was that the second time you moved the goalpost then? Okay.
No, not at all. Like, that's what I'm saying. The second time, I just referred back to the original description, the original challenge that I published. In the description, it said it has to be proven that it was viable.
Right, guys, I think, are we not missing the point? The point is that you can't do 390-degree turns on a ball and get back to where you started off, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know it can't be flown. We know this, but he didn't put that in the actual challenge.
That's what the challenge was, bro.
No, it was to map it out, mate. You never
said to map it out. Absolutely, yeah, map it out because
so he mapped it out. He mapped it out, but he never
No,
said
he
fly
didn't.
it.
Not the first time, and not the second time. The second time he mapped it out correctly, yeah, but he used the unrestricted area. The first time he just used the flight chart app, whatever his computer program that he did. That's not what the challenge was. It was to piece together flight charts. That's not piece.
I agree with Ranty in this one.
Okay,
well, how can you agree with Ranty when you've not heard the original claim that he put in the video?
Yeah.
I seen the original challenge. I seen the response from Wolfie the first time. He said, "All right, this guy made a challenge and he played the video." And then Wolfie say, "Right now we don't use the charts we use is this type of electronic whatever." He went through the whole shenanigans. He say, "I do this distance and then I turn 90 degrees, then I do this," and he completed the challenge. Period. I mean, whether you like it or not, that's the way I see it.
He did not use flight charts and piece them together in order to complete it. How are you going to say that he did? You have to use flight charts, which are paper flight charts. Like
he doesn't have to say that you did it because we've just seen the video where you agree that he did it. We just watched it. Congrats, Wolfie, you did it. We actually just see you admit it.
Now you did. If you play that video, you'll see that the flight route that they plotted out was the correct one. It's an unfinished square. So yeah, he did that part. But if you do that anywhere else on the ball, you end up where the unfinished square ends you up.
So
you don't end up at square one.
That's the question. Was he meant to fly the route or not?
No, he doesn't have to fly a route. Nobody has to fly anything. Unless he wants to start from Antarctica. If you want to go from a restricted zone and play and cheat on it, yeah, like I'm gonna ask for some ridiculous shit too, dude. You're gonna ask me to accept a ridiculous claim that the whole bottom line of that map is 1 point and the whole top of that map is 1 point. Then fine, you're gonna have to prove that's viable, as I said in the description of that challenge video, which if you will see through comments and everything, like dude, that's been a set thing. Like it has to be proven to be viable. That's you can say that I edited that or whenever afterwards or whatever, but no, like if you look back and see comments from that, I have been saying that has to be proven viable since day one, dude.
So is your point that the fact that he's typed it in on the computer thing doesn't mean it's viable?
Well, no, because that's not part of the challenge. You have to use flight charts and piece them together. That's the main key that everybody's missing right there is you have to piece flight charts together yourself, lay them out flat, piece them together.
And how does that make a difference?
Well, because if they're flat flight charts and they're not malleable like through software, if you have a straight flat, then there's on a flight chart one of those flight charts is gonna contain the South Pole, not the bottom line of a bunch of them put together. If you use paper flight charts, one of them is going to have the South Pole. And so then if you make that flight path and you plot it out, it's going to end you up on a completely different flight chart somewhere in Timbuktu. You're not going to be at square one. That's the point of paper ones because it cements, it solidifies your where you are if you're going to plot a course. If you use the malleable,
To be honest, I think that the fact that he done it on some computer thing, and I think that is actually a fair point. I don't know whether I've understood it correctly, but based on what I've heard so far, if you ask for it on paper charts and he's done it electronically, he hasn't done what you have.
Thank you. Like, I mean, that's my whole point.
That doesn't mean I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying.
I understand. You're right.
Based on what I've heard so far, it sounds as though he hasn't done what you said he needed to do.
Absolutely. That is exactly what my point. Like it has to be done on paper flight charts because if you use paper flight charts, one of those paper flight charts will contain the South Pole. There's not going to be a whole bunch of them that are some arbitrary point. Like no, it's going to be one single spot on a whole. If you piece together every flight chart, it forms a picture of the Earth. One of those is going to have the South Pole, not a bunch of them, and you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to end up at one.
Let me ask, what did he say or do when you said you haven't done it with paper charts?
Well, everybody called me a liar. Everybody said that I'm moving the goalpost.
Sorry. What did Wolfie say when you said you haven't done it the way I asked?
Same thing. He said fine, but he said fine. Because Flat Out Heroes moving goalposts, I'm gonna do it his way, and he still didn't. He said that he was gonna use because I even made a clarifying video where I showed like here's a little southwest portion of the United States where it shows the southwest portion of the United States, and I said that's an acceptable type of flight chart. That's what I'm talking about. These type of flight charts. It can be anyone that is similar to this. Like I didn't specify a ratio even, because there's a bunch of ratios that don't account for curvature. There's just flight charts generally don't. Like I don't know of any that actually, they say that they're based on a conic projection or whatever, but I don't see where any of them is actually based on a sphere or can be laid out and pieced together to form a sphere. I just don't see that happening. So I said flight charts. Like if I'm wrong about some flight charts can be pieced together to form that, someone correct me, someone show me that those are. But so
I get it. So Ranty, would you really didn't do it with charts?
He did it from a mobile app. This flat out hero showed an app on the phone and said, "This is the type of chart that I am looking for." And then Wolfie took that up.
Sorry, I just clarify. I didn't show an app. I showed a picture of a flight chart, what the printed out version looks like. I wasn't showing that this app or this website could be used. I didn't say anything like that. I said, here is an agreeable flight chart, and he showed an entire map of like half the world, at least, if not more. It was like a big picture of the world, but the whole top of it was the North Pole, supposedly. The whole bottom of it is the South Pole, 1 point and 1 point. Like that. If you're to use pieced out flight charts, that completely negates any of that. It's one of those flight charts will contain one of those points.
Okay, so I think it's been diced out enough for me to bring clarity to both positions. So Ranty's objection that it's been mapped isn't strictly accurate on account of the fact that you're specifically asking for it to be shown on a flight path, i.e. the chart they use to fly that route. Now, based on that, I'm sorry, Ranty, I've got to agree with him because
Wolfie has done it on a flight chart, as you've just said. He's done it on a flight path.
That wasn't a flight chart. That was a map. But I even accepted it. I said that's fine. Like I more than met him in the middle. I said fine, map that out, doing the same plot, the course that you plotted. But if the Earth is a ball, you should be able to do it from anywhere in the world. Map the same flight course, flight route from anywhere else in the world. It's not restricted, so that we can see that flights actually can go in those plotted flight courses.
Yeah, we know he can't fly it. We know that.
Right.
We know it can't be flown. But
it can't be plotted.
It can still be plotted.
No.
Because this is what the ball does. It's kind of it will say to you that this is what you can do.
I'm with Ranty now.
That's why I said specifically flight charts pieced together. They don't form a ball.
Yeah. You still not get it, do you?
I agree.
No. If that's what he's originally said, I mean, I don't know anything about this. I'm just taking based on what he said here. He's saying flight charts, specifically the charts they use to actually fly. So therefore, when you've said, "Oh well," he said, "Now fly it." No, that's not necessarily his position. He's saying, "I want to see it on the actual chart that's used to fly." And piece those together. Now, if they use to fly, there's obviously a flight that goes over that route because it's a flight chart. Therefore, piecing together those would give you the actual journey that those flights took. So to say, well, you've got to fly it isn't necessarily what he's saying. Am I correct?
Right. Thank you.
I'm kind of with Nathan in when thinking. I'm not sure why it's accepted that what Wolfie demonstrated inside the plane with the electronic thing is acceptable, that he did what was challenged, because that was my gut reaction when I saw it. That's not what he was asked for.
Yeah, I only accepted it because he showed it forms an unfinished square. But the only part that wasn't acceptable is the fact that he did it from a restricted area. If he tries to plot that course on anywhere else on that map that he used, he can't do it. That unfinished square starting and ending anywhere else on that map is obviously going to be two separate points. That's why I accepted it.
I'm with Ranty only because in the beginning, if you guys are actually saying if it doesn't work anyway, and actually creating this type of a bet and making this offer, I find it disingenuous. So I'm siding with Ranty.
I mean, honestly, Ranty, if you're a flat earther, bro, and like I've been mistaken on that, then we can find middle ground on this, bro. Because like I apologize completely if I spoke out of turn on you. Like I honestly thought for sure that you had to have been a baller trying to act like you were a flat earther, because I did not see any way that you could fail that thing. My bad if you really did, and you were just on a live stream. I didn't take any of that into account. I could have been speaking off the cuff. I apologize for that. But we can find middle ground on this, bro. Like, if you agree that it cannot be done in reality, and you know that obviously, like, my challenge brings that to light, then can you at least?
Well, I know that it can't be. I'm with you. I know that. I know what you was trying to do. It was very clever. I knew exactly what you was doing. But from my point of view, the original term of the challenge was met. Even though I knew in your mind that you probably wanted to say, "Well, now go and prove it. Now fly those routes because it won't. You won't be able to do it." I understood that. But from my position, from what I've seen, is that it seems that the original challenge was made. It was met. And then you change the goalposts. That's what
you still think
Ranty, when you say it was met, do you mean that he used flight charts to do it, or do you mean that he used it on the computer of some kind?
I think some people have used charts. I mean, I'm not just saying Wolfie. I think other people have done it on charts as well.
MC Tune is the only other entry that I had, except for one other person. I can't really remember them, but they had their angles were wrong too. MC Tune, you can even see, like, I've talked to MC Tune almost daily. He knows that he made every angle that he made was not 90 degrees. He said that he had to do that in order to make it fit on the airports. But I told him, look, if you try to mess with that angle at all, it has to be a perfect 90-degree angle so that the courses are parallel to each other. When you're going down the back stretch, like on the last leg of the journey, if you alter any of those terms, just even 1/2 of a degree, at some point those lines will intersect. It can only work if you use exact 90-degree angles, and no one's been able to use 90-degree angles on the flight chart, obviously.
To be honest, I see your point.
Thank you. Like, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I see the point. I'm not disagreeing with his challenge. As in, this cannot be done. I agree with this, but the way he's gone about it with the changing the goalposts, which is what I feel's happened, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you've got a different opinion. I have my own opinion about it, but I just feel that the original challenge was met. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, but the original challenge said paper charts, right? Flight paths.
Right, flight charts. Piece them together.
Right.
What's that? There was nothing pieced together about Wolfie's original or second one either. But
so, Ranty, then the question is, why do you think that it's been achieved then if he didn't do that?
Who? Because
Wolfie.
You've just seen the congratulation video where this flat out hero says, "Congratulations, Wolfie, you did it." He then goes on to say, "Now prove it. Now fly that route." So essentially, he's already agreed and said that the conditions of the original challenge were met. If you read if you listen to the video that I asked Nathan to play.
Yeah, if you listen to the video, like, I thought I was pretty obvious in my sarcasm that that I would have to pay for him. That he did not complete it. That he had to complete it. Number one, by proving it's flyable, but number two, like, he didn't even use flight charts again that time. But I accepted it. If he makes that flight path anywhere else in the world, if Earth is a ball, he should be able to do it from anywhere. Just to say that he can only do it from the North Pole or the South Pole is ridiculous. Like, if it's a ball, it's uniform. Like, no matter where you are, you should be able to make that flight path.
Okay, so shout out to... Sorry, bear with me. Sorry. Shout out to Gleam in the chat who's advised me to pop this on. I've no idea why. So, Mucktoon paper chart submission to Flat Out Heroes $100,000 challenge. So, presumably you've seen this, right?
Oh, I've never seen this one.
So, is this, as described, a paper chart submission?
How old is this? How many days ago?
So maybe Gleam can help me out with the relevant point why I'm playing this, because I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't see a flight path mapped on it either.
So you say you have seen this?
I no, I don't recognize it. I'm only seeing a still frame of a picture.
Oh, right. He's saying, okay, Gleam says he has seen this. It's the paper one where the angles are not 90 degree exactly.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's that one. Yeah, you can see from his angles they're way off. Like, I mean, it's not hard to see that at all.
Okay.
He agrees. He knows that. He says that he had to do that in order to make it fit airports, and I told him that it doesn't have to fit an airport. It just has to be over flyable space, like, somewhere that we know flights actually go. You see,
Yeah, the only thing I will say is that once you concede that the challenge, that part of the challenge has been met, and I know you wanted to move it forward by getting them to say go and fly it because you know it wouldn't happen. But once you agreed that the challenge had been met and that this map had been mapped out as you originally said, once you concede that, you know, going back on it.
That's not what I conceded. That's not what I conceded. Like if you watch the video, you'll see that I did not concede that he completed the challenge. I conceded that he plotted the correct course. Like, yeah, it makes an unfinished square. Like if you make that unfinished square, put it anywhere else on the ball, you're not going to be right where you started. Like he completed part of it. Like I didn't say that he completed the whole challenge. Never once did I. I've never conceded it at all. Like I did that as sarcasm. I said it like that as sarcasm, like sarcasm completely, dude. Yeah, you did it. You mapped it, but now
because you can't do that with the Globers. You can't give them any concessions. They don't concede an effing thing to us, us flat earthers at all, ever, at any point in time. Now, once you concede to them, that's it. Essentially, that's it. It's game over. And that's the rules that they play by. That's the
like my inbox was getting inundated, like literally inundated with hashtag pay Wolfie, this, that, yada, yada, yada. Ever since I've released my $200,000 challenge, bro, it's been bone dry almost, bro. Like I've gotten so people trying to respond about it, like it shut everybody down. Like in my second challenge, I made the second challenge specifically to incorporate the fact that Wolfie's flight app, it is a little computer program that supposedly is a bunch of flight charts. That app is claiming to do something that is physically impossible. It is taking the most accurate maps that we have, i.e., like road maps or non-curvature based maps that we can get from address to address, and saying that they're able to put them onto a ball without having gaps or wrinkles, which is obviously physically impossible. And that's why my second challenge is that if you can make road maps pieced together, which you can piece them together, lay them out flat on a table, you can piece them together fine. There's no problem. You can piece them together seamlessly. But if you try to piece them together on a ball, which the app claims to do, it's impossible. So if anybody can show me them doing what the flight app claims to be able to do, then I will give them $200,000. And if they can map the original turn 90 degrees thing, if they can do that, I'll give them another $50,000 on top of that, which I will. Like if anybody can do that, I will. That would blow my mind if you could do that. That's literally impossible. So that's why it shut everybody down. That's why I've gotten nobody really even hashtag pay Wolfie that much anymore. There's a couple stragglers, but I can list them on my hands, 2 hands, which is down from hundreds of people saying pay Wolfie this and that. Like it's cemented, put in stone that his flight app is saying that it can do something impossible.
It seems to me, and this is just to me, that you made the challenge. And then Wolfie's translated what you said into his current lingo because it's not used in electronic. It's not using paper charts anymore. It's using electronic data, and I think he's converted that into electronic data. Claim victory, and I would describe that personally as akin to a levels experiment.
Sorry, you broke up on that. I didn't hear what you said.
Did everybody?
Yeah,
see what I said?
He said it would be the Bedford levels experiment.
It seems to me that the challenge was to do it with the paper charts. It wasn't done with paper charts. It appears that Wolfie's translated the challenge into modern formats to be able to do the challenge and then claim victory the way Wallace did in the Bedford Levels experiment. But that doesn't mean that he's complied with the term.
Yep. Exactly. Like he's trying to make it. He's trying to make it conform to a ball, which I specifically said it can be mapped on a ball. And that's what.
But today's date, in this time and era, does anybody fly with paper charts, or does everybody use electronic charts?
No, like if you're a visual flight, if you're a small, like not a commercial pilot, but if you're just a regular private plane owning person, you're using VFRs, visual flight. I forget what the R stands for, but yeah, they're definitely in use today, and they're as accurate as they always have been.
So just in a one sentence, the challenge was to do it with paper charts, and it was to make 3 turns at 90 degrees. And if it's on a ball, what happens? And if it's on a plane, what happens?
Well, it's 2, not 3. You have to make 2 90-degree turns and then travel the same distance and be home. But if you're on a ball, you can make the 2 90-degree turns and you'll be right back at square one. If you're not on a ball, though, you make an unfinished square, which is what Wolfie plotted on his second entry. You can that unfinished square, though, if you were to use flight charts, right where he started, that would be the flight chart that contained the South Pole. If you had used flight charts, there's no way that he can say that the South Pole is also over here on the other side of the world where he claims that the South Pole is also at. That's why I said specifically use flight charts.
To be honest, it seems that you got a point. To be honest,
Thank you.
I can see both points. I can see both sides. I can see what Ranty's saying on the one hand, but I also see that he didn't do what was challenged in that he didn't do it with flight charts. He did it with some what looks like GPS coordinate-based navigation. And I asked for. I don't know if there's a difference between the two, but I can see that he didn't do what was asked.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, there's
of course there's a
difference.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the
GPS is model-based. The location system is model-based.
I know. I can anticipate what it probably is, but what I'm saying is that the point was to piece it together with the flight charts. That's my understanding of it. And if that wasn't done, it seems that Wolfie's translated that challenge into his modern day lingo. Because I remember when he said it in his video, he said something like, "We don't use paper charts anymore. This is what we actually use." And he punched it in, and I thought that's not actually what he was asking you to do, because basically I agree that software literally can make it appear as though you're on a sphere, but it could actually be using a flat map. And I get the point he's making. It's like, well, I don't know enough about it, but based on what you've just said, it sounds as though Wolfie didn't do what was challenged of him.
No, not at all. No one has.
Well, Nathan, what do you think based on what you've heard?
Sleeping.
He's falling asleep. He's falling asleep, boys.
About right. No. Didn't mean to bore everybody.
And to be honest, I reckon that Wolfie would be able to get hold of the flight charts that you're asking for, because even though they don't use them in big jets anymore, they would still use them on smaller stuff, and I'm pretty sure you should be able to get hold of them.
Yeah, you can print them out online. MC Toon, he printed out a bunch of them, I believe, or he may have actually bought a few. But what's funny about flight charts that are visual flight charts, like there's even MC Toon couldn't find certain flight charts. They're missing, which is really, really odd to me that there should be missing parts of the map. Like if they're visual flight charts, like if you're supposed to be able to see all this, like how are there some of them missing? Like maybe he just couldn't find them, but I just thought that was funny because that would fit together with the fact that you're going to have gaps if you try to piece them together on a ball.
I think the more interesting point is when Flatter Hero say that Ranty has no content and he's not proving anything.
I apologize for that. If I spoke out of turn, which I'm guessing I did, like I'll say that I obviously did speak out of turn. Like I seriously didn't know that Ranty was a flat earther, so I do apologize. I put it out there. That was my bad. Whatever I gotta say to get that strike off my record. Like I literally thought that you were trying to act like flat out, like pretending to be a flat earther. So my apologies. Like
I'll retract the method statement then.
Thanks, man. I'm a stoner.
Remember your flat earther oath.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but hey, when you really get down to basics, though, like that challenge, like I mean, I didn't come up with that on my own. I came up with that based on an instant from someone who was actually a baller, trying to say the same thing. But he was saying that, look, with this, you couldn't make two turns at 90-degree angles and then be back at home if it wasn't a ball. But then I was looking at it through flat Earth. I was like, well, wait, Earth isn't a ball, so how could that? And then I started thinking about it, and yeah, lo and behold, that is one of the biggest cement proofs of flat Earth that we can have. Like honestly, I think. Like, I'm not giving myself any credit for it. Like, I just looked at it through flat Earth eyes. It was someone else that thought of it. But putting it together and putting it applied to flat Earth, yeah, man, you cannot do that. There's no one in the world that can make two turns at 90-degree angles and be home.
Is he still a baller?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything from that guy. I forgot even what his channel was. I wish I could.
I agree with what you're saying, and I think Wolfie's translated what you're and done it based on what he can do easily in the cockpit, but that doesn't make two 90-degree turns and get back to where he started. But it would it'd have to be over a certain. Yeah. Just do it over a couple of miles. It'd have to be over a few hundred miles, right?
Oh yeah. If it was a ball, you would definitely need about half of the globe in order to do it. But like I said, I'm not asking for anybody to fly it. I'm just asking to do it over flyable airspace that we can actually confirm that flights do go around. The Antarctica and North Pole are off limits. Obviously, they're restricted to us.
Okay, so the point that I find strangest is how Ranty Flat Earth initially came in and started saying that Wolfie had won the challenge and that this guy should pay up. But search for truth, whether the Earth is flat or a sphere, shouldn't we be studying Wolfie's results to see if maybe we are on a sphere, if we are truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with Wolfie's results is that you'd never know what the system is telling you is based on.
Well, yeah, but obviously the conversation here is that nobody knew what the results were. Nobody actually knows. But Ranty was coming and saying that flat out should pay to Wolfie because Wolfie did meet his challenge. So if he did, shouldn't we be investigating Wolfie's results instead of yelling at flat out for giving subs to ballers?
No, I actually think that we should be challenging why he didn't do what we should be.
Well, yeah, of course we know that now. We know that now at this point of the conversation. But in the beginning of the conversation, Ranty met the challenge. So if we're on a quest for truth, shouldn't we be going through Wolfie's results to see if we are actually on a sphere or on a flat Earth?
Hey, you guys, my iPad's about to die right now.
Actually, that's the next level, right?
That is the next level.
I'm gonna join on my phone. My iPad's
the level that we are on now is Ranty's amazing footage that he takes with his camera. But now we got a pilot that's on the opposition, and so hopefully we can find someone like that can be on our side, quote unquote. But if we're on the quest for truth, it shouldn't matter if ballers get subs, because in the end, we are right. The Earth is flat.
Getting at in terms of moving it forward. I think to move it forward, Wolfie's got to get the flight charts out and comply with the challenge. That's the way forward for me.
At this point of the conversation, I agree with that. But in the beginning, when Ranty was telling flat up to Wolfie, he was saying that what seems to me just on a clickbait title where he was congratulating Wolfie, when the content of that video was he was being sarcastic, which I don't think Ranty knew.
Well, maybe not, but I think in the beginning, the position's changed, doesn't it? Because in the beginning, Ranty said, you should pay up. But by the end of the conversation, I agree that Wolfie didn't do it on paper charts. And I don't know if it makes any difference. But in the beginning, he's kind of been superseded now by the pointing out that he didn't do it on paper charts, which was the challenge. So it's like, for me, it's like that has to happen next. So it's not in the beginning anymore. Eyes on Wolfie showing that the charts, the way that it was challenged, can do 2 90-degree turns and get back to home.
Well, I actually don't trust any of this, and flat out, because he says, I'm going to give this guy $100,000, and then I will give another $100,000, and then I will give another $50,000. Meanwhile, he's not doing his part as making an escrow or something, some proof that he will actually pay for it.
Guys, well, the whole point was I've just listened back to the original challenge, and the original challenge states using flight charts, the navigational charts that you use for flying. That's what was stated. And there was no mention of paper charts in the original challenge. I just thought I would bring.
Does he not say piece in them? Does he not?
That's what the challenge was.
He doesn't say piecing them together in the original challenge.
Let me just read through the rest of it. Flight charts. Using flight charts.
So he doesn't say electronic or paper?
No.
But earlier in the call, he said that he did say that they were paper charts.
Yeah, I know, but he doesn't state that in the
how you
original
doing?
challenge.
Hold on a second, Ranty. Hey, JS.
Mic check 1 2.
Hello, good to have you.
Greetings.
Hello.
Thank you.
You know, it's I don't want to get down on any flat earthers, but at the end of the day, I'm only just seeing it from the outside point of view here.
Yeah, but to be honest,
outside point of view, there was no paper charts mentioned, honestly.
Well, maybe there wasn't. If there wasn't, then maybe that's the issue. But I mean, I never saw the original challenge. I only saw the one where Wolfie's typing it in what looks like a keypad on a.
Yeah, but which is why I'm saying I understand the logic behind the original challenge completely. I agreed with it from day one, but and I knew where it was going to go because they would never be able to fly that route ever in a million years. I knew it implicitly how it was coming about, but it's just the way that the challenge was set. The conditions, in my opinion, were met, but it could have been maybe done a bit better. Maybe if they'd have said paper charts originally in the first video, and that would have helped out a lot.
I don't know. I'm not even sure. Well, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, and I don't know whether we would even know whether or not he did it. Even if he was allowed to use electronic charts, how would we prove that the electronic charts are doing what they tell us the electronic charts are doing? You wouldn't know, would you?
Is he gone?
Yeah, he said his battery was dying.
Right. Well, anyway, can we change subject?
I thought the original challenge just said flight charts. And then Wolfie came back with his electronic flight charts, which he kind of proved that pilots use. And
but is an electronic flight chart the same as a flight chart?
That's what I thought. Well, if that's what people are using to fly with this day and age, then to me that's a flight chart. But I think the guy who did the challenge, I don't know his name, went onto some website then and said, yeah, if you can show it on this website. It was some online website that he claimed was valid for being a flight chart, and then Wolfie just came on and proved it on there as well, going from the South Pole. And then this guy's just changed the goalpost again. He just seems like he doesn't want to pay out. I think he's just done it as a challenge that he knows the outcome will be.
But to be honest, though, taking it in now that we know the whole script of how everything should have been, the challenge should have been originally stated, paper charts, piece them together, and then can that route be flown? Not only map it out, but can it be flown? Then there'd be no way in a million years that you guys would be able to put that together.
Well, no, because paper charts are a conversion from a ball to a flat plane. It's
what? Paper charts are a conversion from a ball.
Yeah.
Flat plane.
Yes, Ranty. Yes, they are global projections.
In the glober's mind.
Yeah, they are global projections.
They're a projection of a ball onto a flat surface.
Okay.
You cannot take the countrywide plan of, say, the United States and piece them all together and navigate that exactly as the paper chart would show it.
Well, isn't that his point?
Yeah, that is his point. The challenge he's made is disingenuous. There's no way you can do it on a paper chart. But he didn't specify a paper chart.
Hold on. That's a bit of an issue for me. Hold on. Why not?
Why can't you?
Yeah, why not?
Because it's a conversion from 3D into 2D. It just doesn't work.
Well,
so what?
Let me support that. If you're going to convert from a ball into a flat map, wouldn't that distort all the geographic locations on the land masses?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So therefore, I mean, that's why I find it disingenuous in the very beginning, knowing that not to have to actually pre-insert that as a bet is that it's already moot. And this is what's
the guy. Yeah, the guy knew. The guy knew exactly what he's doing. I doubt very much he's got £250,000 to $250,000 to pay out. Has anybody asked him for a proof?
Seen that in the, sorry to cut you off. I'm really sorry.
Before he makes those assertions.
Sorry
before
to cut
he
you
makes
off.
The challenge. Sorry.
I appreciate what you're saying about whether or not he's got the money, but that's not relevant. I mean, it does seem like there is a misunderstanding in terms of how these charts work, perhaps from his position.
Yeah, he's saying that physical paper charts do exist for a local area flight, and then in his next breath he says, oh, but it would be really difficult to prove this unless you were flying half the globe. You know, he's trying to make a challenge, and then well, he's trying to make a challenge that is physically impossible to do with paper charts, and he knows it very well, and that's why he's done it. He's just done it to put his big wooden spoon in the pot of stirring.
So basically, the worst allegation against him is that he's picked a challenge that's incapable of being completed. So really, he's trolling the ballers. Is that what you're saying?
Well, he's just he's just trying to get himself views, or trying to get himself known, or trying to get some publicity out for himself.
Okay.
It's just no way.
Well, what
it'll work, and he's even said it won't work. He said you can't. You need a. If you do a local area chart, you need to do 3 turns or whatever to get back to your, to make up your square, to get back to your original home point. But as if you just look at the angles on a ball, you can clearly do it with less turns. It's just the way it works. From the south, from the bottom of the ball, we won't use terminology. From the bottom of the ball, go halfway up the side, go halfway round, and then turn again and go all the way to the bottom again.
Yeah, but what he's saying is that on the globe, on Google Earth, you can get back home with just 2 90-degree turns. Is that right?
I don't know. I haven't tried it on Google Earth.
Essentially, that's what he's saying. He's saying that you can map it out. If you map it out on Google Earth, you can get back to your location using 2 90-degree turns, which gives you a triangle. But you try doing that on a flat map, and you would need to do 3 90-degree turns as opposed to 2.
Yeah. So what is?
Well, a flat map is a conversion from 3D into 2D. It won't work.
Yeah. So why?
That's what we're told. That doesn't mean it's true.
So why doesn't it match?
Because the paper's not curved.
Because it's not that it's been the line about that it's been a conversion back from a ball to a plane, and it is actually a plane in the first place.
Yeah, the paper is not curved, but neither is the Earth.
Correct. It's whether or not there's been a bluff and then a double bluff, or is it just a bluff?
Or that you're wrong.
No, we know it's wrong. The maps are wrong. If it was the case that you could translate one of these back into a sphere and it was perfect, then let's see it.
Yeah, there are images around on the internet of maps that have got cuts into them that you can cut them and fold them into a ball. But the problem is, in a 2D projection, it doesn't physically work, because you go off the edge of one cut and you appear like physically on the adjoining cut.
That's my
where
point.
There's a big gap.
That's my point. So it doesn't work. So you can't translate it back then. That's my point.
To be honest, the more you argue this point, the more it sounds like the other guy's right. Flat Earth Hero's right. Because we know that on a ball, we know that but we know that on a ball the maps don't convert to flat. So they tell us that they've had to convert it flat to flat. And we said, no, that's because it's flat in the first place, you morons. You haven't converted it. But they all believe it. It'd be interesting to see. You'd have to find out what the distance necessary would be. It would be good to charter a plane and fly it and see, does it work? Does it actually work if you did 2 turns at 90 degrees over a certain distance?
Well, you don't need to charter a plane. You just get a football and put your finger on the ball and do it round and get it protracted, don't you?
No, but we don't live in a football. What I'm saying is, if you actually flew the journey, and if you actually flew the journey on a plane and then did what he says, we know that he's not going to end up back where he started, or not if we live on a plane.
Exactly. That's the whole point. I knew what he was trying to say originally in his original challenge, and the challenge is correct. But the way the conditions were set in the original challenge, I felt were met. However, he's just put a comment now which says the maps are right. Road maps are accurate enough to get from address to address, which is correct. You can actually go by virtue of using the road map from one end of the UK to the other, and that will be on a paper chart too. So you've got to consider that when you think, well, how can you end up hundreds and hundreds of miles away if you did the 290-degree turns, and yet Google Earth would have you coming back to the exact same location?
So basically, without hearing what he actually said in the original challenge, we can't really give any conclusion. Because
the original challenge just said flight maps. He didn't specify a medium of flight map. He then went on to say his
but when he came in,
digital. I don't know what he's saying. He went on to produce another video that was, can you use this website? I can't remember what it's called, Top Flight or something like that. And he showed himself drawing out or using the website, and then he said this is fine for a flight chart. And then Wolfie then came on and showed him going from the South Pole up to the equator, across and back down to the South Pole. Admittedly, because it was a conversion from a 3D to a 2D image, his South Pole is the length of the entire bottom edge of the 2D map. So he went from the, say, for example, the bottom left corner of the map up to the middle of the screen, across to the right side screen, and then down to the bottom right corner of the screen.
So I guess the same point. Do we go back, like, without hearing the actual challenge worded the way, knowing that information, then we wouldn't be able to conclude. We have to leave it open ended.
No, you don't, Tony. You lost.
So I'm going to leave these guys chatting away about Flat Out Hero. I'll get his name right, and his bet, and the outcome of that on the after show. So if you want to tune into that, it'll rebroadcast, or broadcast for the first time in terms of the after show at least, along with a rebroadcast of what's just gone out live at 0400 hours GMT or 4 AM UK time on my second channel. There is also the rebroadcast of the show before this, so if you missed it, if you're a bit of a late riser, then tune in to Nathan Oakley channel to catch the pre-show together with the rebroadcast of the show that went before this one. Massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible, and also a massive thank you to you, the live audience, for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. Smash the like but dislike button and then smash it again. But if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, this has been Eleanor, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!